Hello everybody, today I want to do a short video on how to set up a UPS to control one or more NASs. Hope you enjoy the video, and as always, don't forget to subscribe. Hello everybody, this is Mike Fauché. Today I want to do a video on setting up a UPS on your NAS unit. As you know, protecting your NAS is extremely important, and anybody that's ever suffered from a power outage understands the danger when your server or NAS units comes crashing down. Now, this particular video I want to cover not only the basic setup for how to configure your QNAP unit to control the UPS, but also how you can control with a single UPS multiple NAS units. And that's kind of critical, and it's not something that's fairly obvious, but I want to walk you through how to do that. So let's get started. The first thing is to actually plug the device into a UPS unit. And if you've worked with a UPS before, you know most of them come with a USB cord, and that USB will plug into one of the USBs on your primary NAS or your only NAS, whatever the case may be. Once you've done that, it will be detected automatically. But in order to configure it to do what you want to do, you actually have to go into the control panel, and you want to go to external devices, which is right here. And then you're going to click on UPS. Now, the first thing you're going to notice is if your UPS was detected correctly, you should be able to see this screen. And the only thing you're really going to do here is pick one of two options. The first is with the USB connection is to configure the device of what you want it to do. You have two options here. One is to actually turn off the server after AC power fails, and I've got mine set for 10 minutes because my UPS will run it for at least 30 minutes, all of them. So I picked 10 just to be on the safe side. The other option I can choose is to put it in what they call auto protection state, and that's basically where when it detects a power outage, it will actually unmount the drives. It will close down all the services and basically ready for powering down. And when the power goes out, or when the unit actually stops working, it will be in that correct state, so that when the power does go back on, it will actually reboot and restart. And that's something that if you pick the first option, it will not do that. It will just power down, end of story. So that's all you have to choose really to set up the UPS. And so you'll have to determine how many minutes and all that kind of stuff. And if you're really conservative, I would set it to like 2 or 3 minutes, especially if you're going to plug multiple units into one UPS. Now, the other thing you're going to want to do if you have more than one unit, if you don't, you can skip this part. It's not going to help you at all. But in the future, if you do get a second NAS, or in my case a third NAS, what you can do here is enable what they call a UPS master. So what happens is when the power goes out, your primary NAS unit detects and initiates a shutdown sequence for any of the devices that are on the network that are in the same condition, providing they're plugged into the same UPS, or any UPS for that matter, because you have to keep them powered on. If you lose power, the UPS master command will not work if the units are still not powered up. So they have to either be connected to the same UPS or another UPS, and this can control it. So basically what happens is a shutdown sequence is initiated to the IP addresses that I have listed here, and it will tell it to go ahead and shut those down. And I'll pull up one of the slave units and show you exactly how to configure that. For all practical purposes, we're done here. This is all you really need to do to configure both your primary here if you have 2 or more NAS units, this will also control those units and send the proper command out. So let me switch over to, here's one of my other NAS units, and as you can see, the way it's configured, it's configured as a network slave. Although physically it's plugged into the same UPS, there's only one USB cord, so you can only control one device, and that was the other unit that we pulled up earlier. So basically this is configured as a network slave. And so all I have to do here is put the IP address of the UPS server, or in other words the primary unit, and I have the same basic configuration options here. As you can see, it's also reading the UPS information, so it tells me basically how much runtime I have. So the slave units I configure for 5 minutes, and the primary I configure for 10 minutes, and that's strictly a personal choice. And that's really all there is to it. It's a really easy thing to set up and extremely powerful to use. I highly encourage you to put a UPS on your NAS unit if you haven't already done so. And if you have more than one NAS, which many of you do, I would certainly use this option so that you don't have to have multiple control points for your UPS. And one primary use case for this is when you, let's say you do have it plugged into the same NAS. As I mentioned earlier, you only have one USB control point. But if you maybe have it plugged into a, next to your entertainment center that maybe also has a UPS as well, it may be controlled by something else, so the USB connection isn't available. This is ideal for that because I can still control it by making it a slave unit. So anywhere in my network that I have a NAS that's plugged in to some type of UPS so that it stays powered up, I can control it from a single NAS. So hope you enjoyed the video. It's an extremely powerful tool. As always, don't forget to subscribe and set your notifications so you'll be notified when the next video comes out. Have a great day.